Welcome to this introduction to creating a screencast using the iPad app Explain Everything. We reviewed a number of apps, including those shown here, and at this point in time Explain Everything looks like a good place to start in terms of preparing screencasts to support the delivery of our courses. It's available to download from the App Store for $1.99. Essentially, Explain Everything is a fairly simple app. There are a series of tools down the left-hand side here, most of which are self-explanatory. And to develop a screencast, we first of all start with a project. And a project consists of a series of slides. We can add new slides as we wish, and we need to then add content to those slides using those tools or importing material from elsewhere, which we'll talk about in a moment. Project can be saved at any time, and we can come back to it and add to it and modify it. When we're done with our project, we can export the project as an MP4 movie to our preferred destination. Probably in the first instance it's best to send it to Photoroll. That way you can access it on your iPad and play it back and see if you're satisfied with what you've got. If we want to be able to access the file and save it to our PC or upload it to Moodle, then really the best way of doing it is using Dropbox, and we'll say a little bit about that on the next slide. Finally, a little note we've provided here about file sizes. Generally speaking, you want to keep your overall screencast down to about 15 minutes maximum. Otherwise, you're going to have very large files. It's going to take a long time to convert to MP4 and a long time to upload to Dropbox. Okay, so you should have Dropbox on your iPad. You just need to set up an account, and then any files that you put in Dropbox, but from wherever or by whatever means, will be accessible to you on your iPad. If you've got a laptop or PC at home, you can download Dropbox and then you just drag and drop files as you would with any other. At the moment, unfortunately, you can't download it to university desktop PCs, but if you just log into Dropbox.com, you're basically able to do the same tasks over the web as you would be able to do on your laptop or PC if you have Dropbox loaded on it. Okay, so how about adding content to Explain Everything to make a screencast? Well, we've already noted the tools that are available, but I wouldn't recommend you starting from scratch and trying to enter all your content directly. It could be done, but it's much quicker and easier to import content from elsewhere that you already have prepared, and then just use the tools here maybe to add to it or amend it or whatever. So let's have a look at an example. Okay, so let's take an example going from, let's call it the rough end of the spectrum, i.e. getting a screencast with minimum effort. Now I'm sure we've all got notes that we've used in the classroom for revision or summing up, in addition to the PowerPoint slides and notes, printed notes that we give out. So here are a few sheets, 4 of them actually, that I used in one of my classes for revision earlier last session. And these were just written on the visualizer in the classroom, so I haven't done anything else to them. And what I want to do really is import them into Explain Everything and then add a voiceover and some further information. So the first thing is to put them into a PDF document, and obviously with the new copiers it's dead easy. Just scan and send to yourself by email, and then when you get the email, upload the attachment into Dropbox. Okay, well, as you can see, if we go to this tool on the left hand side, Insert tool, we can insert a document from Dropbox. If we select that, we'll be able to find the PDF that we've just uploaded and import it into Explain Everything. The PDF will come in one slide to each page. You can also import PowerPoints and so forth directly by the same method. Just note that in the current version of Explain Everything, you can only really upload one document into a given project. That's going to be changed in the next version, but for the moment make sure that everything you need is in that one document that you upload. Okay, so here's the first page of the PDF that we've imported. This image we can zoom out, we can zoom in, we can focus on a bit of detail, we can add additional elements using the tools, we can add text, or we can write, or we can add diagrams, and so on and so forth. So we can manipulate what we've got. Just remember though that if you say something that you wish you hadn't said, which is almost inevitable, and you want to go back and edit it, you can't chop off the last little bit that you've just said. You basically have to go back to the beginning of that slide and restart all over again. So that means that it's really better to keep each slide to maybe about 30 seconds or 40 seconds of talk over, if at all possible. One way around that little problem, if you don't want to prepare material specially, is to go into the slide sorter, and if you tap on any given slide, you're given a choice: either delete it, you don't want that, or to insert a duplicate. So here I've inserted a duplicate of the first page of the PDF, so that means I can sort of talk for 30 seconds on this bit and then move the page around and talk for 30 seconds on another bit. So it does save you a little bit of work if you expect to have to redo sections of your voiceover. Well, of course, there's many other ways of preparing content for bringing into a screencasting app like Explain Everything. Just worth bearing in mind that there are in fact a number of apps that come under the heading of note-taking apps, some of which are actually very good for producing content that we could use. One that I found quite helpful is called Notability, and the only problem with it at the moment is that when you save something to a PDF to export to Explain Everything, the file sizes are very large, but the developer tells me that's going to be fixed in the next update. So let's just have a brief look at what we might be able to produce using an app like this. So here's an example of the kind of way you can present information using a note-taking app. It's probably particularly helpful for traditional engineering areas, for tutorial solutions and examples and so forth, where to produce this kind of information using sort of Word or whatever would be quite time-consuming. One of the final things to mention, which you might appreciate from looking at this screen here, is that you probably need to have an iPad stylus for some of the things I've been talking about. So to finish off just with a brief word about what I found to be useful tools for that job. Okay, so here's a cheap and cheerful iPad stylus. You can get them from about £1 upwards these days on Amazon. And here's a more expensive one. It's a Wacom Bamboo. Anything from about 15 to perhaps over £20, depending who you get it from. So quite a big difference. Is there much difference in using them? Yeah, a bit, but probably not as much as the price difference suggests. So I'm going to ask the school to see if it can make available a number of basic iPad styluses, so it'll be more like this one here. But if you want to get a higher quality one, so the Wacom Bamboo, then you'll need to buy that yourself. Okay, well that concludes our brief review of using Explain Everything to produce screencasts. We hope that everybody's going to have a go at using these tools and all of the many other tools that are out there as well, and we hope to discuss how we're getting on when the school VLE and Learning Technology group starts to meet next session.